How does that song go again?
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to a top 10 list that probably no one asked for, but a top 10 list that I would love to make. And hope you guys enjoyed. This is my top 10 favorite NHL hockey players. I don't talk about sports because I'm not a huge sports guy, but I am a hockey fan. I love hockey. I played hockey for years. I grew up with it. It's in my blood. It's just in the family genes. Everybody in my family played hockey and loves the game of hockey, and it's not just a Canadian stereotype, but I just love it. And I've been just watching it all my life, and I don't talk about it on this channel because there's just no point. There's other great channels that I subscribe to that just talk about hockey in better ways, like Hockey Psychology. That's such a great YouTube channel. But I thought, hey, it'd be fun just talking about my favorite players of all time. Personal favorite. This is a personal list, and people really need to realize that because hockey fans are crazy a little bit, and if like their favorite players aren't the list, they think is the best player, they will just call you out and say you're an idiot and shit like that. I've been to hockey games. Trust me, I've heard them. They chirp a lot. And Leaf fans, we're a little crazy too. So you're gonna see a lot of Leaf players on this list, but the whole list isn't just Toronto Maple Leaf players. I could do a whole list of top 20 greatest Leaf players because I'm a huge diehard Leaf fan. Clearly, as you can tell, I was born in Toronto. I always root for them, even though they'll never win the fucking cup. But a lot of these players you'll see on this list are players I watched growing up. So I'm not going to have a lot of old school. There's only one really old player because I just watched a lot of documentaries about him. I've seen movies about him. I've seen his gameplay and I see his skills. And that's why I really appreciate him. So he's on this list. But all these players are from like the 90s to the 2000s now. Because that's my era of watching hockey. So, and there's a certain person that's not on this list that's going to piss a lot of people off, so we'll get to it. So before I get to the list, here's some honorable mentions. These are players that I think are very strong, and I like them, but they just couldn't quite make the list. First is Alexander Ovechkin. I think he is one of the great players right now in the NHL. I think he's tough. I think he's the reason why the Washington Capitals is good. He literally makes that team. Next is Jerome Agilna. He is my favorite Calgary Flames player. Him and another person as well, but he really made the Calgary Flames that good. And he may not have won the cup when he was on the Calgary team, but man, it was close, and it was a lot because of Jerome Agilna. Wendell Clark is a great player too. I actually got to meet Wendell Clark when I was a kid. He autographed a couple hockey sticks that we had. I met him, Doug Gilmore, and Matt Sundin, and it was awesome. I love Wendell Clark. He's a good player. Another player that a lot of people want to see on this list because he's the player even hockey fans know who he is. That's Wayne Gretzky, the great one. I don't have him on my list. I know a lot of people love him, and I know everyone calls him the greatest player because he put the most points up. Kind of like LeBron James, how he's the greatest basketball player. Peyton Manning's the greatest football player because of the points they put up and the stats they have. But this is a favorite list. Like, do I think he's a good player? Of course, I think he's one of the greatest players. He's just not my personal favorite. I think Gretzky's a bit of a coward sometimes. I think the refs gave him a lot of leeway. He did a lot of stuff playing, especially on the LA Kings. He did a lot of stupid shit, and the refs never called him out for it. And anytime he did do something wrong, he bitched to the refs. There's just something about Wayne Gretzky's style I didn't always respect. I do respect him as a player. It's just some of the bitching he did I was not always a big fan of. That's the same with Sidney Crosby. I love Sidney Crosby. He's also an honorable mention, and a lot of people love Crosby. Crybaby Crosby, as the Philadelphia Flyers call him. I think he's an amazing player, and I think he really made a big difference on Pittsburgh Penguins. It's just there's one certain Pittsburgh Penguin is a better player, and he is the heart of Pittsburgh, not Sidney Crosby, and he'll be on my top 10 list. But Sidney Crosby, I like him, and I like that he stuck it to Philadelphia, but I do think he also is a bit of a whiner sometimes too. So he kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. All right, let's get to the top 10 list. Number 10 for me is Stevie Yzerman for the Detroit Red Wings. I think he is an amazing player. I think he's one of the best players to play on Detroit. He was their captain. He was one of their lead scorers. He has an amazing wrist shot, and he is a true leader. And that's why I always love Stevie Y. And every time I used to play the NHL video games, every time I would play on the Detroit Red Wings, I would just pass the puck to Stevie Y and just get as much goals as I can. The double hat tricks and stuff. I just think he's a great player, and I think he has a lot of heart, and he really led to Detroit to a lot of finals, and it's a lot because of Stevie Y. Yes, there was also Nicholas Lindstrom on there as well. Chris Osgood, who was a great goalie, but it's Stevie Y. Come on. Number 9 is the only modern player you'll probably see on this list, and that is William Nylander. He is the Toronto Maple Leaf player. He is my favorite Toronto Maple Leaf player. I know some people don't like Nylander. I've heard people call him a bum and stuff. I love him. I think he's one of the best scorers on the team, and I think he is. Number 8, I'm going with number 66 himself, Mario Lemieux. He is the Pittsburgh Penguin that I was talking about. He is the true heart and soul of the Penguins. I love Lemieux. He was a great player on Team Canada. He won a gold medal on the team. He, again, is an embodiment of leadership and true passion when it comes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Anytime I think of Pittsburgh Penguins, I think of Mario Lemieux. And I know a lot of modernists only think of Sidney Crosby when they think of the Pittsburgh Penguins. For me, it is Mario Lemieux all the way when I think of Pittsburgh. Who's with me on that one? All right, number 7 is the only classic player I have, and that is Maurice the Rocket Richard. Maurice Richard played for the Montreal Canadiens, and he is, I still think to this day, one of the fastest skaters in the NHL, hence why they called him the Rocket. They made a whole movie about him called The Rocket. It's a great movie. They've made a lot of documentaries, TV shorts about him. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he had an interesting story, interesting upbringing, how he was trained in the NHL. I think he is a top-tier player. And I can tell if I was born in this decade with Maurice Richard, he would have easily been my favorite player. I think he's a talented guy. I know everyone wants to talk about, your Bobby Orrs and stuff, or Gordie Howes, all great players, fantastic. But the Rocket, there's only one Rocket, and that is Maurice Richard. So, yeah. All right, number 6. So my number 6 and my number 5 are my favorite goalies. So my number 6 is Dominik Hasek for the Buffalo Sabres. Dominik Hasek is just a one-of-a-kind goalie. And I know people are going to get a little offended because I think people are going to know what my next goalie I'm going to talk about. So when it comes to number 6, it was between Dominik Hasek and Patrick Waugh. I think Patrick Waugh is a talented goalie, and he invented a lot of styles in the net. I just think Hasek was just a better goalie. I think the way his flexibility, the way he did saves, I think he had the most points in his season, even when he went up against the Devils. I think a lot of it because of him, Buffalo Sabres almost did go all the way. I think Dominik Hasek is one of the most talented and unique goalies I have ever seen in the net. And again, there's so many goalies. It's always been a debate who are some of the best goalies. Patrick Waugh, Ed Belfour, Curtis Joseph, Felix Potvin, and Dominik Hasek. And of course, my next one are always the ones that are in talks of who the greatest goalies are. Dominik Hasek is just a personal favorite of mine. I think he is a true talent in the net, and I don't think anyone can beat him other than my number 5. Martin Brodeur. Martin Brodeur is the greatest goalie in the NHL, who has ever played in the NHL, because he doesn't play anymore. He's got a lot of cups. He's got a lot of gold medals. He's got some of the best points and save records and statistics ever that you've seen with a goalie. He's, again, a very flexible and very fast reflexed goalie. And again, I think he was the heart and soul of the New Jersey Devils. This is during the time period when the New Jersey Devils was one of the most toughest teams in the NHL. I loved watching the New Jersey Devils. Like, I loved watching the Anaheim Mighty Ducks because of Paul Kariya. And again, the Leafs because they had a lot of great Leaf players. But man, watching the Devils play was such a treat. They were just a tough, rough, and just an amazing team. And a lot of it is due to the brilliant goalie of Martin Brodeur. And now we got to get to my number 4, who is the most controversial, most loved/hated player to ever play. And he is a bit of a goon, but he's also a great player. And that's Scott Stevens. I love Scott Stevens. And he's not just a straight goon bully. He's not like Todd Bertuzzi or even Ty Domi. Like, he is a terrific player. He's one of the lead scorers in the New Jersey Devils when he played. But man, this guy was a deadly force. He was the most scariest player to play. He took Paul Kariya and Eric Lindros out of commission. And it's because of Scott Stevens, Paul Kariya, and Eric Lindros can't play hockey anymore because he fucked them up so bad. He was just a tough guy. It was always fun to watch him, man. He could hit. And it's also because because of Scott Stevens, they put new rules where you can't hit players with your elbow because he would go right to the head with the elbow. It was kind of awesome to watch. I know a lot of people didn't like him because they thought he was too tough and they thought he was a little too rough on the ice. And the thing is, he was not an unsportsmanlike player. Like, he never got pissy if he lost. He never bitched and whined and stuff. And if he did get a little rough, he'd be like, yo, my bad. But that's just the way his style of hockey was. He was just a very tough player. And it was just really cool to see. I don't usually put a lot of strong, goonish players on my lists. I like to go for more good skaters, good puck handlers, people who put up good points and who's the heart and soul of the team. Scott Stevens was not the heart and soul of the team. He was the bronze of the team. But he also did lead the team because he did have the C on him. And he made the Devils one of the most feared teams in the NHL when him and Brodeur and Scott Niedermayer were all on the team, and Gomez. Like, they were a brute force to be reckoned with. And a lot of it was because of Scott Stevens. So, had to put him on the list. Number 3, we got Matt Sundin. Matt Sundin, I got his book right here, Home and Away. This is a great book written by Matt Sundin. It's about his life in the NHL, his life in Sweden. Very good book. I really enjoyed it. Matt Sundin is a great player, man. He's a tall player, too. He originally played for the Quebec Nordiques. Then he was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then he got the C after, Dougie and Wendell left and stuff. But when he played, when it was like him, Thomas Caberlet, Curtis Joseph, Darcy Tucker, Ty Domi, Shane Corson, the Leafs were a great team. I mean, when Pat Quinn was the coach, this is during my whole childhood, man. Like, most of my childhood was me watching the Leafs and watching Matt Sundin rock the C, rock number 13. Again, he put up some of the most points in the NHL. I think he broke Eric Lindros' record. He got really close to I think he beat Mario Lemieux. I think he didn't beat Gretzky, but he was getting close. He put a lot of points up, a lot of assists, a lot of goals. And even though he was a very strong player and a very tall player, he didn't always go for the hits. He didn't go for the cheap hits. He had a protector. He had an enforcer, Ty Domi, who always protected Matt Sundin on the ice. But there's the times Matt Sundin got a little rough and stuff. There's the times that I wish he did get a little rough because there's a lot of players who try to bully him and try to knock him on his ass. But it was very hard to knock Matt Sundin down. The dude was like 6'4", and he was a lead scorer and the head centerman on the ice. But Sundin was just a hell of a player. He had a lot of heart. He was a true leader for the Leafs, too. He was a very good leader, and he was a very inspirational player, and he was just a great guy. And I actually met him in person. He is a very sweet guy and a very nice dude. And, yeah, love Sundin. You a Sundin fan? Go buy his book. He's so good. Advertised by Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 2, I'm going to go with my favorite Leaf player of all time, though. And that's Dougie Gilmore. Doug Gilmore is my favorite Leaf player. Again, I've met him in real life twice. He did play for Calgary Flames, and he was one of the best players on Calgary Flames. But when he came to Toronto, man, he was so good. When it was him, Potvin, and Wendell on the Leafs, I gotta go to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1993 or 92 or 93. The game, one of the final games of the Leafs versus the Los Angeles Kings. This is the reason the Leafs didn't win the cup, because the Leafs were so close, and Wayne Gretzky himself, the GOAT, high-sticked Doug Gilmore in the face, and he didn't get a penalty. That's a 5-minute major, even getting taken out of the game, but the refs did not see it. They thought Doug Gilmore went onto the ground and fell to the ground and cut himself on the ice, so there was no penalty. And what happens? Wayne Gretzky scores the winning goal, and they move on to the next. They go on to Game 7 and win on to the next round, and they lose the cup to Montreal Canadiens. Toronto Maple Leafs during this season was the greatest team in that season. It had the best players, they were the toughest team, the leading scoring team, and if they went to the finals against Montreal Canadiens, the Leafs would have won that cup that year, but because the refs gave a bullshit call and they all suck ass to fucking Wayne Gretzky, I'm ranting about stuff that isn't just about Doug Gilmore. Anyways, Doug Gilmore. Doug Gilmore is a great player. I love it, Dougie. He's very much like Scott Stevens, too. He's a very tough player. He's a very rough player sometimes. He'll take the hits and everything, but he's also a genuine leader. He led the Leafs. Him and Wendell Clark were the ultimate duo on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I just think he's a great player. He's a good scorer. He's a good passer. He's very good on the ice. He doesn't break a lot of rules. And again, the only time he bitches is if something is unfair, like the Wayne Gretzky call. He said to the Roos, Wayne Gretzky cut his chin. I agree, it's fucking bullshit. But Dougie, I've always loved Dougie. Dougie is my favorite Leaf player. He's my second favorite player of all time. Go Dougie. Number 1 is not even a Toronto Maple Leaf. It's Joe Sakic. Joe Sakic from the Colorado Avalanche and the Quebec Nordiques. Joe Sakic is, to me, the greatest player to ever play the game. I think he's I think if he went toe-to-toe with Wayne Gretzky, I think he could have actually taken him. I think he's a great skater, great puck handler, an amazing scorer, and I think he's just to me, is the greatest player to ever play the game. And I know a lot of people will say, no, it's bullshit, it's Wayne Gretzky, or it's Maurice Richard or Bobby Orr. Fine, but to me, it's Joe Sakic, and he is my favorite hockey player of all time. So yeah, those are my top 10 favorite NHL players, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments below what are your top 10 favorite hockey players. And if you're movie fans and you don't like hockey, I just appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Join the dark side.